Hello everyone, welcome to the Anime vs. Hubs channel. Today we're covering Battle Through the Heavens episode covering the incredible Bodhisattva Ancient Tree arc. Remember, this is based on the novel, so it won't be 100% similar to the Donghua version. Today we will dive into what to expect in this absolutely mind-blowing episode, and without further ado, let's go into the story. The situation reaches an absolutely critical point when Xiao Yan and his extraordinary group of companions finally arrive at the legendary location of the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree, one of the most precious natural treasures in the entire Duchi continent. This ancient entity, also known as the Knowledge Reincarnation Tree, represents power beyond imagination, possessing the incredible ability to grant enlightenment that can instantly elevate a Du Venerable directly into the realm of the semi-saints. What Xiao Yan doesn't realize, however, is that the path to such an overwhelming treasure would never be simple or straightforward. The moment his group steps within the tree's spiritual domain, 5 incredibly powerful semi-saint puppets emerge from the shadows, each one radiating energy equivalent to the combined might of dozens of peak Du Venerables. Their crystalline forms gleaming with deadly intent as they block every possible escape route. Meanwhile, the battlefield transforms into absolute chaos as Xiao Yan makes the strategic decision to coordinate his allies in a devastating combined assault. He summons the magnificent golden giant manifestation of his diamond-glazed body technique, while Shun-Er unleashes her terrifying bloodline power. Gu Qingyang channels his clan's ancient techniques, and Medusa, Little Dr. Fairy, and Qinglin each contribute their own earth-shaking abilities to the incredible display of destructive force. The situation becomes even more extraordinary when blinding lightning pillars and devastating energy waves shake the very foundations of the ancient forest. Each clash between the puppets and the cultivators creates explosions equivalent to the collision of multiple meteorites, with shockwaves that flatten entire sections of thousand-year-old trees and leave massive craters scarring the landscape for kilometers in every direction. However, what makes this battle absolutely mind-blowing is the incredible resilience demonstrated by these semi-saint puppets. Even after sustaining damage that would completely obliterate ordinary cultivators, they continue fighting with mechanical precision, each strike carrying enough force to instantly kill hundreds of Dao practitioners and leaving even powerful figures like Hun Yu struggling desperately to survive the overwhelming assault. At last, through incredible teamwork and tactical coordination, one puppet finally reaches its breaking point and explodes in a spectacular burst of crystalline fragments and spiritual energy. But 4 incredibly dangerous opponents still remain, their attacks growing more ferocious as they adapt to the group's fighting patterns, forcing every survivor to push their cultivation bases to absolute limits just to avoid instant annihilation. The climactic moment of this phase arrives when Hun Yu, filled with desperate determination and burning hatred, is forced to reveal his most powerful hidden techniques. Despite managing to destroy one more puppet through sheer overwhelming force, he suffers devastating internal injuries that leave him pale and trembling, while Feng and the entire Heavenly Demon Phoenix clan lose countless elite members to the puppet's relentless counterattacks. Finally, after a battle of blood and thunder that consumes enormous amounts of spiritual energy and leaves the ancient forest permanently scarred, all 5 semi-saint puppets collapse in simultaneous explosions. However, the price paid for this victory proves absolutely staggering. The battlefield becomes littered with corpses of fallen cultivators, while the exhausted survivors can barely maintain their standing positions. Just when everyone believes the legendary treasure lies within their grasp, the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree suddenly flares with dazzling multicolored light that seems to pierce through dimensional barriers themselves. Instantly, every surviving cultivator finds themselves irresistibly drawn into a mysterious inner space that defies all conventional understanding of spatial laws and spiritual energy manipulation. What Xiao Yan discovers next completely changes his perception of reality itself. He finds himself standing in a dark, desolate realm dominated by a withered tree that radiates ancient wisdom and incomprehensible power. Suddenly, countless illusions surge forth with overwhelming intensity, each one designed to test not just his cultivation base, but the very foundations of his Tao heart and mental fortitude. The first illusion shows Xiao Yan as an incredibly powerful Du saint, slaughtering fierce beasts across the entire ancient wasteland region with casual ease. His strength so overwhelming that even ancient bloodline creatures flee in terror before his presence. But the vision quickly transforms into something far more sinister. Endless figures of the Hall of Souls surrounding him, their malevolent energy seeking to corrupt his soul and transform him into their puppet. In growing madness and desperation, Xiao Yan's eyes turn crimson with bloodlust as he swings his heavy Zhuan ruler wildly, striking down everything in sight without distinction between friend and foe. His voice roars with terrifying intensity. Die! All of you! Die for me! The illusion proves so incredibly realistic that even his experienced soul cannot distinguish it from actual reality. However, at the most critical moment, when Xiao Yan teeters on the edge of complete mental hoisps, a surge of pure green light bursts forth from his storage ring, the protective power of his accumulated treasures clearing his mind just enough to recognize the deadly trap. He realizes with growing horror that this illusion possesses such incredible authenticity that prolonged exposure would transform any cultivator into a mindless puppet, exactly like the semi-saint guardians they fought earlier. What the ancient tree reveals next absolutely defies every expectation. It projects another scene showing a towering figure in black robes, a legendary Du Emperor, whose overwhelming aura shakes heaven and earth with such incredible power that even witnessing his silhouette makes Xiao Yan's soul tremble with instinctive fear and awe. The vision shows this mighty Du Emperor launching a devastating attack against the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree with overwhelming might that threatens to shatter the very fabric of reality. Yet in the midst of this incredible battle, a destructive force descends from beyond the known universe, and in one terrifying instant, that seemingly invincible Du Emperor and all the space surrounding him dissolve into absolute nothingness. Xiao Yan finally understands the shocking truth. This ancient conflict involved not one, but 3 different Du Emperors engaged in combat that transcended mortal comprehension. The black-robed Emperor's death left behind ominous resentment that seeped into the tree's spiritual core, corrupting its pure enlightenment aura and birthing a twisted will focused entirely on creating evil illusions that trap unwary cultivators. The Bodhisattva Ancient Tree, recognizing Xiao Yan's potential and pure intentions, reveals the only possible solution to this corruption. Only the refined essence of Bodhisattva Seeds can cleanse the accumulated malevolent energy. At first, Xiao Yan hesitates because Bodhisattva Seeds represent treasures beyond any reasonable price, capable of granting enlightenment equivalent to decades of meditation. However, before him float 24 crystal-clear Bodhisattva Seeds of absolutely supreme quality, each one radiating spiritual energy so pure and concentrated that ordinary cultivators would achieve breakthrough just from proximity. With no other choice available, Xiao Yan summons his incredible collection of heavenly flames and begins the incredibly complex refining process. Each individual seed requires more than an hour of concentrated effort to transform into emerald energy, which then flows into the tree's core, forcing out strands of black miasma that represent thousands of years of accumulated resentment and corruption. The tree responds with incredible joy, continuously pouring vast amounts of pure spiritual energy into Xiao Yan's cultivation base. Though he consumes his Dao Qi rapidly during this exhausting process, the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree refills his energy reserves endlessly, creating an incredible cycle of refinement and regeneration. Through this repeated process, Xiao Yan refines seed after seed while his Dao Qi capacity expands to absolutely unimaginable levels, surpassing every previous limitation of his cultivation foundation. At last, the final Bodhisattva seed dissolves completely, and the final wisp of black resentment fades away into nothingness. The Bodhisattva Ancient Tree bursts forth with sacred brilliance so overwhelming that its aura becomes pure, divine, and filled with ancient wisdom that spans countless generations of cultivation knowledge. A branch gently carries Xiao Yan onto a jade-green meditation cushion, specifically designed for the legendary Enlightenment beneath the Bodhisattva experience. To outside observers, He appears to sit motionless for exactly 1 month. But within his soul and consciousness, Xiao Yan experiences hundreds of complete lifetimes, each trial sharpening his willpower while threatening to trap him forever in endless reincarnation. When he finally awakens from this incredible spiritual journey, his cultivation has surged dramatically to the absolute peak of 9-turn-do venerable, just half a step away from breaking through to the realm of the semi-saints. His gaze now carries the accumulated wisdom and vicissitudes of countless lives, creating such an overwhelming presence that even powerful figures like Hun Yu and Zhu Feng tremble, as if their deepest secrets were completely exposed. Suddenly, the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree trembles once more with incredible energy, scattering dozens of glowing Bodhisattva seeds throughout the surrounding area. Gasps erupt from every direction as desperate voices cry out, "Bodhisattva Seeds!" Countless figures charge forward with absolute madness, willing to kill anyone standing between them and these priceless treasures. But Xiao Yan only responds with a faint, confident smile that demonstrates his newfound wisdom and power. With a casual wave of his hand, every single Bodhisattva seed avoids the grasping hands of other cultivators and flies directly into his palm, demonstrating control over spiritual energy that approaches the level of semi-saints themselves. He then demonstrates incredible magnanimity by sharing portions of his harvest with Jun, Medusa, Gu Qingyang, and several neutral experts who had fought honorably during the puppet battle. Those who accept his generosity quickly withdraw from the area, deeply grateful for his unexpected kindness and unwilling to provoke someone of his clearly overwhelming power. However, Hun Yu and Zhu Feng stand frozen in place, their faces pale with shock, their eyes blazing with undisguised envy and burning hatred. The greatest cultivation fortune of their entire generation has fallen completely into Xiao Yan's hands, making him the single most envied individual in the entire ancient wasteland region. What happens next in this absolutely incredible journey of cultivation and spiritual enlightenment? Will Hun Yu and Zhu Feng dare to challenge Xiao Yan despite witnessing his overwhelming transformation? Or will they retreat to plot revenge from the shadows? Can Xiao Yan successfully consolidate his incredible gains from the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree? Or will jealous enemies unite to steal his heaven-defying fortune? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to find out what explosive confrontations await in the continuation of this epic cultivation saga. The battle with the puppets may have ended, but within the aftermath of the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree's trial, an even greater storm of conflict and jealousy is definitely brewing. That's all from me for this episode. Your support helps me bring you more amazing content covering the most incredible moments in cultivation literature. Until next time, stay tuned for more incredible adventures in the world of Battle Through the Heavens.